Evening and welcome. I'm Teddy, listening to Analyze This Mess. Somebody has to say, may hear some feedback. I'm going to take my having sex. But let me just say hello to others. I call it hit the like on your let me know sound even readers. So tonight's D is for Danny Robertson. United States Copyright Claims Board, bad so of let's turn it off. Can't hear my voice. I've turned the music off. You can't hear me. Let's try this. Audio. Can you hear me now? Is that any better? Let me look at the chat. Let me know, is that any better? Okay, great. So let's see if, let me just change and stop. No, hang on. Can you hear the music in the background? It should be very, very low. I only have it on like 3. Waiting for a thumbs up. Let's see. I'm going to put my headphones on again. Is that better? I'll turn my mic down a little bit more. Sometimes I don't know. Can you still hear me okay? No feedback? All right. I was going to try to bring on a guest, but you know what? Because I've changed the sound and the mics, I'm just going to have to forego that. All right, let's get started. Loud and clear? I need to take my headphones off because I'm getting feedback. All right. So, tonight's D for Danny Robertson or Danielle Robertson, United States Copyright Claims Board, bad faith conduct. Yeah. So, we've got a mess so tangled. Even the Copyright Claims Board had to pull out the scissors. D for Danielle Robertson and D for defrauding the Copyright Claims Board. Fair use commentary. Everything that I say in this broadcast is for education, it's for criticism, it's for our learning, and it's going to be based on the facts, the actual documents. I'm going to try. I know I'm coming on late, so no doubt there will be a part 2. All right? But here's what went down. In July, Daniel files not 1 but 2 copyright claims against Maggie Cocoy Germain. She says Maggie stole her Danny Montana instrumental and even filed fake counter notices. Sounds serious, right? Except there's just one problem. The board only takes cases against U.S. residents. I'm talking about the Copyright Claims Board or the CCB. And Danielle knew Maggie lives in Canada. She knew it because she already admitted it in federal court a month before. So, how does Danielle get her case in? She types in a fake Los Angeles address, entered the city, the zip code, even the California state code, a full-on fraud just to slip past the system's guardrails. The CCB system literally flashes a warning. You cannot file against foreign residents. She clicked past it. Certified under penalty of perjury that her info was true and hit submit. The board caught it instantly. On July 24th, they sent her 2 orders, one saying this claim is unsuitable, and another saying, explain why this isn't bad faith. Like show cause. She had until August 7th to respond, and a live hearing on August 13th. And what did Danielle do? She tried to withdraw, that's correct, claiming Maggie gave her the wrong address. Then she ghosted the hearing, didn't show up, didn't explain nothing. Then on August 15th, the board dropped the hammer. Danielle Robertson acted in bad faith. They said her explanation wasn't credible. Her filings were fraudulent, and her attempt to spin it as an innocent mistake didn't hold water. The claims were dismissed, and she got an official warning. Keep this up, and you'll be banned from filing for a year. This isn't just another dismissed claim. This is a documented finding of fraud. A tribunal saying, Danielle Robertson, you tried to game the system and we caught you. And for someone already drowning in court battles and YouTube takedowns, this is another nail in the credibility coffin. So tonight, mob, D for Danielle Robertson or Danny Robertson, or Truth Teller Danny, or Danny Montana. D for Copyright Claims Board. And most importantly, D for bad faith. All right, so what I'm going to do is bring up the chat. Let me take my headphones off again. I already have it set up. Let's bring it over. Hang on. While I am setting up the size to get it. All right. So we need to just start so I can at least tell you the dates. So she filed, you've got the CCB Claims Board, her claim. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'm just showing you that, okay? The next would be July 24th. Order of intent to dismiss for unsuitability. Okay. Let me just look at so I can see your chat. Okay. This one is the first. All right. So you see the claimant, Daniel Robertson versus Maggie Kokoy Germain. Order of intent to dismiss for unsuitability. Now I could, let me just hit some bullet points for you and just walk you through the timeline. The claim, Robertson filed 2 CCB claims against Maggie, okay? July 22nd. Claim copyright infringement of the instrumental, asking for $3,500 plus $2,000 in damages. I already talked about the flaws. CCB only has jurisdiction over U.S. residents, but Robertson listed a Los Angeles address, but the real address, again, is in Canada, Quebec. So this first one, they notified and responded. Copyright Claims Board has concluded that these claims are both unsuitable for determination by the board, okay? Because they are raised against a foreign resident. So it was flagged. Okay. Talks about the street address being listed for the respondent was in Quebec. Okay. And simple online search for that address leads to a Facebook post by the respondent offering a studio louver, studio for rent in French, which appears to confirm that the respondent resides outside of the US. Therefore, the board intends to dismiss this claim without prejudice for unsuitability. You may request that the board reconsider its determination of unsuitability by August 25th. However, a request to reconsider would only be appropriate if you can show that the respondent is not a foreign resident. A request to reconsider must be filed on ECCB and may not exceed 7 pages, not including any relevant facts. Okay, so it goes through the logistics. Any questions, contact the board. Okay. What would come next? So again, what I just showed you, the board found claims unsuitable because the respondent was foreign. Robertson was given a chance to prove otherwise. So now you're looking at from 724 comes this order to show. You can see it right there regarding bad faith conduct. Claimant Daniel Robertson, filed these two claims before the Copyright Claim Board on July 22nd. They responded pretty quickly, 4 days, alleging copyright infringement. The mailing address provided for the respondent, Maggie, I'll just say, in the claims is clearly invalid and indicates that respondent is not a U.S. resident or United States resident. These claims against respondent does not constitute bad faith under this. Claims before the board must include the respondent's mailing address. Online filing system requires claimants to provide a United States mailing address for each respondent, including the state and zip code. Claims against respondents who reside outside of the United States are categorically not subject to determination by the Copyright Claims Board. This is my first time reading through these, okay, in this kind of detail. Both claims list respondents' city, state, and zip code as Los Angeles, California 90028. However, the street address listed for the respondent in the claim is in Quebec, Canada. Laval, Quebec, Canada. And a simple online search for that address leads to, again, this Facebook post in which respondent offers a studio lure, a studio for rent. Respondent is evidently a resident of Canada, and the Los Angeles address information listed in both claims is clearly invalid. Apparently, claimant provided that information to evade the board's legal and technical requirements that only permit claims against the United States resident. There's that word, evade. Everybody knows I have a case against Daniel Robertson here in Detroit in federal court. And right now, the judge is looking at my show cause as to whether Daniel Robertson was properly served, okay, and whether or not jurisdiction. It's been over 2 months and I haven't heard yet. But in my response, I talk about evasion. I will say no more on that for now. But it's interesting, the words that I have talked about, the ideas that I've talked about, things that I've pointed out. It seems that the Copyright Claims Board is seeing something here as well. Only this is the United States Copyright Claims Board. It's their examiners who are documenting. So this is legal, it's public record. Okay? So let's continue. To evade the board's legal and technical requirements that only permits claims against United States resident. At issue, residency, right? Whenever a claimant submits materials or advocates a position before the board, they certify to the best of their knowledge, information, and belief formed after a reasonable inquiry under the circumstances that A, it is not being presented for any improper purpose. B, any legal contentions are made in good faith based on the claimant's reasonable understanding of existing law. There's that phrase, good faith. I talk about good faith as well. My documents were entered way before this. Okay. Let's continue. C, any factual contentions have evidentiary support, or if specifically so identified, will likely have evidentiary support after a reasonable opportunity for further investigation or discovery. And D, any denials of factual contentions have evidentiary support, or if specifically so identified, are reasonably based on behalf or lack of information. 37 CFR 232.2. These claims do not appear to meet those minimal standards. Therefore, the board orders claimant to file a response to the order by August 7th, 2025. The response should be filed on ECCB in each proceeding and may not exceed 10,000 characters in length, not including any relevant documents filed as attachments in support of the response. The response shall state why initiating these claims, despite the respondent's foreign residence, does not constitute bad faith conduct as defined in the board's regulations. So let me just stop right here for a moment. It's late. It's 12:45. Again, we're looking at July 24th document, okay? Order to show cause. A simple search brought up Facebook. Okay. Danielle was familiar with that. This was filed July. What happened in June when she filed against Maggie in California? Didn't she make a video where she posted Maggie's house, her apartment, or her home, and talked about it? Talked about how gloomy and dark it looked and that she was in the basement, it appeared. She showed photographs. She talked about Canada. Oh, Canada. There's just too many witnesses to this bad faith conduct that was ruled in this particular filing. Let's roll it back. So she fills out this form, puts a Los Angeles address, but, put what, a street address, or got it all mixed up. She had Canada and Los Angeles. Who was filling out the forms? This has now been documented. I know the judge hasn't ruled in my case, but I've talked about the CCB. I talked about her as part of my showing cause that she has evaded service. Okay? That she filled out forms with the CCB for a paper trail. And here it is, the CCB, the same CCB has flagged bad faith conduct, underscoring that I'm not imagining this. And what they're saying in Maggie's filing. Danielle has been before the CCB multiple times with multiple aliases, with multiple addresses. Why? To evade service. Why? To have a paper trail. I would not say any of this if I hadn't put it in my case, along with a video and her confession and her boasting that she knew what she was doing was invalid, fraud. But CCB comes along and says fraud, filing false information to evade the system. I can say it loudly and clearly now because it's right here in this document. I didn't change the document. I pulled it up from the CCB. Okay. I have said that Daniel Robertson commits fraud. That's in my claim. So here comes the CCB with another case, another content creator. Show cause, Danielle. Show cause. But what did she do? Okay, so we're going to find out. Bad faith conduct. I talked about bad faith conduct more than 2 years ago, and people laughed at me. Are you going to explain this to the judge? I put that down, and I'm saying it loudly and clearly. Are you going to send this video to the court? Because while I'm waiting, She has already filed some things. Okay. So back to this, because there is overlap. We're talking about the same CCB. She has been filing against multiple, including, didn't Tells have to recently go through the C? Come on, y'all. The CCB has seen her so many times that they just picked this up quickly. Like, what in the world? Because she's anonymous. Because she can't be found, she says. Well, somebody is probably going to find you this year. The CCB, the United States government, has flagged you here. Now, like, what's going on? The courts. She has 2 active cases, and one she filed in June and withdrew it. And she made a video and said she did it for a specific reason. Why? I asked that question. So she has developed a pattern, a history. I'm not making this up, folks. You can see it finally. This is important evidence to support behavior of fraud against another content creator, Magic. It is fraud. That's what they're saying here. Let's continue. The board will hold a conference by Zoom. Z for Zoom. Zoom, 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 Zoom. There's somebody out there with Z. So Z, why don't you zoom in on this and tell the truth? Come on now, somebody. And who would say that? That's not me. Who always says, come on now, somebody? She's a fraud, Z. She's a fraud. We have evidence. I have more evidence than you can imagine. And here comes Magic. So what did she do? Just pull these addresses? What did she get things mixed up when she was filing at, 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning? Or whenever she filed? So she's in where? Where is she now? An address. She just zigzags across the continent. Okay. So August the 13th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Claimant is directed to attend to explain why the conduct described in this order does not constitute bad faith conduct. A Zoom link will be sent to the claimant before that date. If there are questions, claimant should, contact, and they give this email, including the docket number and so forth. Copyright claims for it, okay? Didn't we say, or maybe I'll just say what I said. Summarize it. The reason Danielle didn't want to show up, didn't want to carry things through, is because eventually someone's going to pull her card and say, you've got to show your face, zoom in. And she said she will not be found. That's the reason why, you better leave me alone. That's what I say, right? This is why she doesn't want to face the camera, although she takes pictures and posts them and has obtained them, private things. She has a history of fraud, YouTube, CCB, the courts. Who is John Doe? Who is Jane Doe? Do you guys understand now why I say I don't believe it? Or at least I can question it. I don't believe Danielle. Just because you say your address isn't here or there, or just because you say it didn't come here or there, that doesn't make it so. Because why? Danielle, she said she lies. She said she lies. I have the receipts. Here it is. Now Maggie has receipts. But she's going to try to explain it away, though. Listen up. Oh, we're going to be here. Look, it's 1 o'clock. I'll try to get through one more. So, I'm trying to give my commentary. Okay. What's the next one? So this is her request to withdraw the claim. And it comes on August the 5th. What was supposed to happen on August the 7th? Get in a response, right? And the 11 a.m. Zoom on the 13th. So here she goes. She files this request to withdraw the claim. Let me just hit the high points. Let's see. Got our order to show cause. An attempt to withdraw on 8/5. Robertson tried to exit quietly, saying Maggie gave her the wrong U.S. address. Admitted respondent was Canadian. Oh my goodness, you mean she didn't know? She tries to pull the wool over the eyes of the, examiners at the United States Copyright Claims Board. Here's what she says. The respondent provided me with the incorrect U.S. mailing address that I included in my claims. Oh, no, wait a minute. She's caught putting the wrong address in. It doesn't square, but she's going to lay it at the feet of Maggie. She gave me the wrong information. Oh, didn't I say? No, wait a minute. Based on how she responded in the counter notification to YouTube in December of 2024, before I filed the lawsuit, she responded her address she gave me, that's the only address. So that's the address I put down. So no, wait a minute. Is the logic, is that going to be the same? Oh, the respondent provided me with an incorrect U.S. mailing address. But she's not being honest, is she? Oh no, wait a minute. Here we skipped over this. Bend, Oregon. So now she's, you know, authorized representative information, Daniel Robertson, Bend, Oregon. You notice she doesn't put her address anymore because she slipped up and put, a registered agent in Dover, Delaware. Back to this. She says that I included in my claims. This is not the first time the respondent has given me false or misleading contact information, which has complicated my ability to serve her. Oh my goodness. Properly. Oh, because by now, she's in a lawsuit. She knows you have to have proper service. Look. And confirm her residence. You mean, could I just take this? Could I just, superimpose this? That Danielle has complicated my ability and others to properly serve her at every turn. Oh, but the script has flipped here because, no, wait a minute, not really. She knows what she's doing here. She's playing chess, she says, not checkers. She goes on to say, based on the information now known, respondent appears to reside in Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. May she rest in peace. And I acknowledge, she says, that the Copyright Claims Board does not have jurisdiction. She has to acknowledge they caught you. Oh, I acknowledge you got me. I admit. But I did it. Why? She says. She gave me wrong information. And this word, appears to reside. Not appears. Danielle, didn't you make a video with Maggie's apartment or her house? You put it up for all the little Avengers to raise their swords and drop their comments. Then she says, therefore, I will voluntarily dismiss the claims for now until such time that I'm able to obtain a valid U.S. mailing address for the respondent. I am so over this one. This is my first time reading through. My goodness. D for Danielle. Danielle Robertson. Danielle Jane Doe. John Doe. I don't know Doe. She's just, what? This filing is made in good faith. But the board said bad faith, Danielle. After they looked at the response in your behavior. Remember, she always talks about behavior. Didn't she say, on God? Maggie, I'm giving you this last chance. You need to take it. You need to take it. Get this interview. Tell me this or that. And I will lift. You will get your channel back. She doesn't need to do anything like that, because this is enough to talk to YouTube and go with this letter along with all the witness videos. It just stacking up against you, Danielle. Or should we say Montana? Oh, there is absolutely no defamation here. Defamation needs to be a lie and with malice. I'm talking about facts. I'm reading this and giving my fair use commentary based on my personal experience and ongoing. Except that I'm not saying that much, but I'm saying a little bit. This filing is made in good faith to comply with the board's procedures and to clarify that my actions were not taken for harassing or improper purpose. Y'all better leave me alone. All you have to do is go back to Danielle's videos that she made on Maggie when she took her channels down, when she was putting up the apartment, her house. I might say it's an apartment because she kept saying she's in the basement like it's an apartment, like for lease. She sought that out. Danielle Robertson looked for that address. Danielle Robertson put that up on her YouTube. Danielle Robertson harassed Maggie by posting that information and then talking about what might happen in the future. All you have to do is roll back the tape. Just roll it back. It doesn't take a scientist to figure out that she knew that Maggie was Canadian. How many times did she talk about her voice, her accent? How many times did she talk about, wasn't there some conversation about, someone not being in the United States? Like, are you black enough? This is my words. Are you from here? Are you there? Are you an American? Are you this? Are you that? She knew that Maggie wasn't living in this country. She knew that. So it was intentional. If she's going to say when she filed this July the 22nd that she didn't have a clue that Maggie lived in Canada, come on. The board caught the lie. The board caught the sleight of hand. We will say all of this allegedly. I'm looking at this document. This is my opinion. This is my fair use commentary. This is DForDaniRobertson, U.S. Copyright Claims Board, bad faith conduct. Analyze this mess. Let's see. Ooh.
Yes. Here's what I just wrote back to you above. Open quote. I don't have a way to wake up Blade in the live voice chat. When Blade doesn't respond, it usually means the voice session didn't connect or timed out. You can
Mm.
always restart the live chat session from your side, either by refreshing and rejoining or by scheduling another one.
So, I can't bring Blade on just yet. But I want to know about what I just copied. Did you hear that? Did you hear anything when I paused? Did you hear the reading? Anything? Give me a thumbs up. I need to know. Let's see. Let me go to the comments. Give me a thumbs up. Freebird Lee, Baby Juju, you heard something? Okay. Did you hear anything about what she claimed? Hmm. So, Blade explains the meaning. When the board said dismiss without prejudice, the technical phrase, it doesn't mean Danielle won or lost. On the copyright itself, it just means the case is thrown out for now. But she's allowed to file again in the right place, like federal court. The CCB can't hear it because the respondent lives in Canada. So their hands are tied. But again, here's the thing. While the claims were dismissed without prejudice, Danielle didn't walk away clean. The board slapped her with a formal finding of bad faith. That's on the record. They said straight up, your excuse about a wrong address is not credible, and your attempt to withdraw doesn't erase the fact you filed with false information under penalty of perjury. And they didn't stop there. They issued a warning. If she pulls this stunt again, she could be barred from the CCB for a full year. That's basically the board saying, this is your one warning shot. Try it again and you're out. Didn't she give Maggie, this is your last chance? You know, I'm making an offer. The CCB gave her a warning. One shot. Try it again. So, in short, she dodged a permanent dismissal on the claims. She's been dodging. Mhm. But she gained something worse, an official black mark on her credibility. That's why the board called it deliberate misrepresentation, not an innocent mistake. You can't undo bad faith by quitting once you get caught. Her hands were in the cookie jar. She was caught, and now she wants to take the cookies and put them back on the counter and says, but they're already broken and you already been caught. The crumbs are all over you. And now she wants to say, I've eaten. I admit. It appears she resides in Canada. I acknowledge that the copyright claims does not have jurisdiction over you. She knew it. Now she plays like she's not the smartest person in the room when she says so many things. Like if you try to outsmart her, that's one thing she can't stand. It just, ugh. She cursed me out up and down. She doesn't like the camera to be turned, the lights. But the lights came on. This one. How are you going to explain it away? She tried to explain it to the CCB. Danielle, the party, Danielle Robertson, Danny Montana, truth teller Danny, who says the Cash App, that's not her Cash App. It's John Doe, and John Doe is anonymous. I don't know who John Doe is, and I don't know who Jane Doe is, but I do know that the Copyright Claims Board here says Danielle Robertson. That's the name on the lawsuit. You're not dealing above board. Not in good faith. Your intention, you knew, and there's too many receipts to debunk you. D for debunk. Danielle, how did she think she was going to get away with it? Oh, she thought she wasn't going to be checked. Like they were, there's no flags in the system. That it was just going to slide through. This time, like all the other times. Again, I don't know what's going to happen in my case. No matter what happens, I know I'm dealing with someone who has admitted she's a liar. Why would I believe her in anything? And now, why would Maggie want to make a deal with an individual like this? She's caught. And now she's going to say to the board, this is the first time I've seen an admission. It appears she couldn't even say it. It appears You see, appears to reside in Canada. She had to put a qualifier in front. Appears. She just couldn't say it. She just couldn't admit it. She can't admit. Just go ahead and admit it, Danielle. You got caught by the CCB, the very same CCB that I'm talking about in my case, that you've been trying to defend, with an argument. Wow, what else? So then you come to this. It's 1:22. Looking at the clock. Been on for 1 hour live. Order finding bad faith conduct and dismissing claims. It's short enough to read it. Claimant Danielle Robertson, claimant, filed these 2 claims before the Copyright Claims Board on July 22nd. This was dated August 15th. What is that? 2 days after? We'll find out. Did she show up? On July 22nd, 2025, alleging copyright infringement. The claims provided a clearly invalid United States mailing address for the respondent, who is evidently a resident of Canada. Evidently a resident of Canada is different than appears to reside. Even though claims before the board against respondents that do not reside in the United States are prohibited. 17 U.S.C. 1504 D4. On July 24th, 2025, the board issued an order of intent to dismiss for unsuitability, notifying the claimant that the board had found the claims unsuitable for determination by the board because they were raised against a foreign resident. On the same date, the board ordered claimant to show cause why the filing claims in that form did not constitute bad faith conduct. The order to show cause further ordered claimant to file a response to the order by August 7, 2025, and to attend a virtual conference on August 13, 2025, to explain the conduct described in the order to show cause. On August 5th, 2025, claimant filed a request to withdraw a claim in each proceeding, stating, the respondent provided me with the incorrect U.S. mailing address that I included in my claims. This is not the first time. So she really had to, just try to justify, make it really seem like. This is not the first time that the respondent has given me false or misleading contact information, which has complicated my ability to serve her properly and confirm her residence. Just superimpose that, but it's the truth here. So many aliases, so many different addresses, even mocked my attorney, saying she didn't live in a building that looked like a school, and laughed and lied and made all kinds of remarks. Said, you don't have anything to connect me now. Yeah, and laughed in a video. You know that laugh. Based on the information now known, respondent appears to reside in Canada, and I acknowledge that the Copyright Claims Board does not have jurisdiction over non US residents. This is her quote. Therefore, I will voluntarily dismiss these claims for now. Until such time I'm able to find a way to make something else up, I think. But she said, I'm able to obtain a valid U.S. mailing address for the response. Danielle doesn't want to appear for a Zoom hearing. When they zoomed right in on her this time and came back and said, we need you to appear. That didn't happen before. This one just like, ooh, Danielle, you mean you didn't want to show your, what did she say? Cute in the face, small in the waist. You didn't want to show the CCB at least your face or your voice, anything? You could have put on some dark glasses, a wig. Mm-hmm. But she knew she couldn't disguise herself. No. Because it would be on tape, recorded in front of a court, United States Copyright Claims Board. She said, I'm a Christian. On God, she said. Why didn't you ask him to hold your hand and, dial that number and get on that Zoom calling? She says, this filing is made in good faith to comply with the board's procedures and to clarify that my actions were not taken for any harassment or improper purpose. That could be the furthest from the truth because there's videos that contradict you, Danielle. The CCB says, pull this stunt again. You could be barred. That's basically what they're saying. You get a warning shot. Try it again and you're out. Then they say, on the same date, by a docket note in each proceeding, the board reiterated that the order to show cause hearing would proceed as scheduled and that claimant was still expected to appear. So she rolls this out, right? August the 5th. No, you can't. No, you're expected to show. This was done in part because the explanation of the claimant, who has filed many cases before the CCB, was not credible. So you've got a track record with the CCB, Danielle. Just go to the CCB website. Type in Danielle Robertson. And there's other things, might ask you. You can't find it that way, you can find it. You're just going to get a list of people on YouTube. Not to mention what trees. I mean, there's just so many people. I have my few. Yes. She knew. And what else did they say? Also on the same date, in the claim of 25 CCB 013 or 17. Claimant filed a response to the order to show cause, repeating the content of the request to withdraw claim almost word for word and adding, I respectfully submit the response to the board's order to show cause and confirm that I am voluntarily withdrawing my claim at this time. I respectfully request that the board accept this withdrawal and consider this response as addressing the concerns raised in the order to show cause. Claimant has not filed a response to the order of show cause in claim number 0318 with the prefix. Although the board will treat her filing in the 2025 CCB 0317 as a response to that order. So they caught that. Like, what did they say? Almost word for word. Just cut and paste. The board sent a link to the August 13th, 2025 virtual conference to claimant at the email address provided in the claim and at other email addresses claimant has provided in previous claims. Ooh. Really? I gotta get off. Gotta come out of the dugout. Get off. Get to first base. Oh, there's information out there. CCB's got all kinds of information. Claimant assertions of good faith are not credible. Oh, did I skip something? The presiding copyright claims officer waited 15 minutes after the scheduled time for the conference to begin, but claimant did not appear. Claimant did not notify the board that she would not be attending or explain her absence thereafter. The officer recorded a statement on the record and then concluded the conference. Wasting government resources. Time, not even a courtesy call to say, not a notification, but she demands, and she has called hospitals, and she's demanded responsibility, accountability, everyone. You must be accountable to Danielle Robertson. How dare you question and not show up? How dare the Avengers? Recently, she sent out a call to her Avengers saying, you're not doing enough, basically. You need to report all these videos. I need to see some results. And one Avenger on the same day, she put in her comment, see, I got a response from YouTube. And they said that they either removed the video or they put it on restricted. So they feel obliged that they've got to respond to this individual. Well, the Copyright Claims Board, the United States Copyright Claims Board, sent out a notification to you too, Danielle. And you ignored them. Now, imagine if her Avengers would ignore her. She will ban them. She will block them. But what did the CCB do? They gave her a warning, basically. Try it again. Try it again. Wow. Claimant assertions of good faith are not credible. Claimant sued the respondent in federal court on June 17th. What? Just over a month and a few days. Specifying in the federal complaint that the respondent is a resident of Canada. Did she have amnesia? Did she forget that this is a federal court, that they can look things up? That they're connected. Just because one court is in California is all federal. Complaint 5, Robertson versus Kakoy, German. Claimant knew that the respondent apparently resides in Canada at least a month before filing these claims before the board. The fact that the claimant submitted claims with an obviously inaccurate address for a foreign respondent, despite the knowledge that the claims against foreign residents are prohibited, has not been refuted. Claims asserted against a person or entity residing outside the United States are categorically not subject to determination by the Copyright Claims Board. The Copyright Claims Board, or E, online filing system specifically informs filers of this prohibition. And ECCB requires a United States address for respondents, including a United States or district and zip code. When these claims were submitted through the CCB electronically, a notice in the respondent section of the claim form warned the filer that the claims cannot be filed against respondents residing outside the United States and specified anyone who evades this requirement will have their claim found non-compliant, lose their $40 filing fee, and may be limited in the ability to file future claims. So she just blew right by the stop sign. You know, the flashing lights were right there. You know, hard stop. A reminder. And she knew. She knew that Maggie's address was in Canada. She talked about it. Claimant has seen that warning repeatedly, as she had filed 7 other claims before the board prior to these 2. 9. So she's filed these forms before. She knows the flashing lights. She knows she's seen that sign before. She can't tell them, "Oh, this is my first time. I've never been here. I don't know." She was just hoping that she could just continue to evade the truth. Just skirt around it. Just fill out forms, because forms for her are just something to annoy her. They have no meaning. She doesn't care that they come from the United States federal court. What does that mean to Danielle Robertson, who's anonymous and said she knows she's doing things wrong, but she continues to do them? Why? Because she'll never be found. Before submitting each claim, claimant also certified under penalty of perjury that the information provided in the claim was accurate and truthful to the best of her knowledge. It is evident that the respondent is a resident of Canada, as claimant stated in federal court. She stated it a month before. The street address listed for the respondent in both claims before the board is on rue, and which is street in French, and this street, which does not resemble a typical United States street name. It's not like she lived on Blueberry Road or West Street or Chicago Boulevard or 8 Mile Road. But she said in a recent video about Maggie and others, they went to Dummy University. Her words, not mine. However, what is this? Instead, the street address provided in Laval, Quebec, Canada, and a simple online search for that address leads to a December 2024 Facebook post in which the respondent again offered this studio for rent. However, when filing both claims, not once, but twice, despite providing that Laval, Canada street address, claimant entered Los Angeles as the respondent city with the Los Angeles zip code. Why? Did she put something in that lawsuit that she filed in California against Maggie? I don't know. She's got to make everything just work out. And selected the state code CA for California from the drop-down menu in the claim form. Danielle, didn't you see it? You talked about my glasses. And you talked about how thick or whatever. You didn't see that. You don't see what you don't want to see, Danielle. You don't see the truth. You need to take truth teller out of your name. I think, my opinion, because too many times and too often, it's not the truth that you are purporting. My opinion. Entering that California address information for the respondent, despite the knowledge of the respondent's address in Canada, means that the filer must have ignored the warnings on the ECCB and entered those address details to avoid the technological barriers to entering a foreign address. It would have been a hard stop. It wouldn't have gone through. She's going to force it. She's going to make it fit. Didn't I say? It's Danielle said, I always win. I always win. I never lose. I always win. I always win. So for her, the most important thing in her mind is winning. Whether she has to lie to do it, it doesn't matter. It's simply a means to an end. It's all about winning. This underscores that I wasn't making that up, that I wasn't defaming her. I have receipts. There's receipts here. Recent. She doesn't care. But she got checked by the CCB. This is a real check, Danielle. Who gonna check me, boo? The United States Copyright Claims Board, that's who. Danielle Robertson got checked. Danielle Robertson was checked by the United States Copyright Claims Board, the same board that's listed in a case that's in federal court here in Detroit. One that she's trying to defend her behavior. The same board. Therefore, I go on, the board finds that the actions of the claimant in these two proceedings constitute bad faith conduct. As defined in the board's regulations, bad faith conduct occurs when a party pursues a claim, counterclaim, or defense for a harassing or other improper purpose, or without a reasonable basis in law or fact. Such conduct includes any actions taken in support of a claim, counterclaim, or defense, and may occur at any point during a proceeding before the board, including before a proceeding becomes an active proceeding. Under this standard, the board has no difficulty. Oh, it's just so easy. In finding that the claimant did not have a reasonable basis in law or in fact to file a claim before the board with an invalid United States address against a respondent evidently residing outside the United States, despite the clear warnings and technological barriers to deter such filings. The board warns that penalties for further acts in bad faith before the board could include a 1-year ban on bringing claims in this form. See these laws, 17 USC 1504 and 1737 CFR 232.4. The board further dismisses and closes both claims. The numbers 18 and 1703. So 318 and 317. In the year of 2025, based on the claimant's request to withdraw. 37 CFR 22217, the order, or I should say 22217, the order of intent to dismiss for unstability or unsuitability, my mistake, filed in both proceedings on July 24th is moot. Didn't she say somebody was moot in another case? Moot. Like you got the boot. I mean, she makes up all kinds, but when it comes to her, how are you going to explain it, Danielle? Oh, she said she reserves the right to file, and it was, without prejudice. Dismissal is without prejudice, which means claimant may raise the claim again in a proper form, provided there is no agreement with the respondent to the contrary. It's just about 2 a.m. We're going to have to pick this up again, but look at these comments. I wanted to put them up on the screen so we could all see them and we can revisit these comments again. It's Monday, August the 18th, and I have a busy morning. And not too many hours from now. So, what do you think about this, Danielle? Are you going to just send the whole thing? Send everything to the court. Send the letters. Everything, Danielle. That's why I just put it up here. Don't delete anything, Danielle. I bet you she won't send this one. How much y'all want to think? She's going to send it without some, explanation, like she wants a what? Protective order. Seems like somebody else needs protecting. We'll have to pick that up for another day. Okay? Let's see. I'm going to check my email, and then we're going to say goodbye. I'm going to try to straighten out my sound, and figure some things out. Maybe by the next broadcast. I hope, because I didn't put my headphones on. I don't know how the sound, until I listen to it. So in advance. I could barely hear myself. So I did, sound a little, a little volume. I raised it and leaned into the mic, hoping that it was captured. Okay? Yeah, to my moderators, Baby Juju, Vicky Black, thank you for supporting the mob at this hour. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I'll have to look at these emails tomorrow or, when I get some rest. I appreciate you. But that's it for me. Biggest bear hugs. We will go over these, I'll go over and read your comments tomorrow. Biggest bear hugs go out to the Grizzlies and the Honey Bears. Please hit the like on your way out. Email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. Again, this was fair use commentary. I used the receipts. I wanted to pull them so you could see them and read them all. That's it for me for now. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.